Okay, so hello everyone. Welcome to the eighth day of the Saturdays for Sustainability Learning. And today, let me quickly share about this initiative in 2 minutes, and then we can continue our topic of today. So this is Saturdays for Sustainability Learning, where we are devoting 1 hour in a week to learn new concept of
Hello,
sustainability. The goal being to discuss
hello.
sustainability issues in a systematic manner for holistic understanding, how to understand sustainability issues differing at different places, but still the common truth, I would say, how to identify that. So this is a mastermind group, and these are some of the details of mastermind group. I'll not discuss them all, but this is peer-to-peer mentoring. This is co-learning, and that's the new way of learning, I would say, right? So we can learn from each other. We can connect. We can help each other to learn. Okay. And what are the outcomes of this session on Saturday? So first is learning one new concept every week, learning something new, discussing with each other. Second is networking with fellow professionals, because as you already know, network is something that is the value, right? That adds value to our learning and to our output as well. So there is one great quote, I must tell you now here is, uh, you are the average of 5 people you spend your most time with, right? So that is how, if we are spending more time with the professionals who are into sustainability thinking, who have a lot of experience into it, definitely that can be helpful for us. Third is, it's about career opportunities to help each other, maybe in terms of jobs, in terms of entrepreneurial opportunities, in terms of consulting opportunities. So that's there. And fourth, which is most important, this group aims to become a thought leadership platform where we can lead the sustainability, we can lead the sustainable development in a meaningful way. So how we do it? So every Saturday we connect at 7 p.m. The time is around 1 hour. So we discuss, we put forth our points, and this is free discussion. And whatever your thought process is, that will not be judged in any way. Okay, so it's I guess in that sense a discussion platform where all voices are welcome. Right. So in today's session, I'm sorry, this is 19th of August. So last time also we discussed sustainability, but that was basic and the theory part. Today we will more discuss about circular economy in businesses. Is there any guidebook to do that? So that we will discuss, and more today we will focus on discussion part. Last week it was not that much discussion, but today our focus would be more discussion on the points. So I would like you all to put your thoughts into this. So how we can implement sustainability or circular economy practically. All right. So let's move ahead, and I want to show you one video before we start today. So give me just a minute so that I can share. This is a short video, and I'm sharing it. Share sound. Yeah, so as discussed last week, this is a video from Ellen MacArthur Foundation, so which is a leading institute about research in sustainability, in circular economy. I'm sorry. So this is a video by Ellen MacArthur Foundation, rethinking progress. That is the circular economy. So I'm playing this video. Please confirm if you can hear the sound as well.
Living systems have been around for a
Is it
few
audible?
billion years and will be around for many more.
Is it audible? Can you please confirm?
Yes.
Okay. Perfect. So I'll start.
Living systems have been around for a few billion years and will be around for many more. In the living world, there's no landfill. Instead, materials flow. One species' waste is another's food, energy is provided by the sun, things grow, then die, and nutrients return to the soil safely. And it works. Yet as humans, we've adopted a linear approach. We take, we make, and we dispose. A new phone comes out, so we ditch the old one. Our washing machine packs up, so we buy another. Each time we do this, we're eating into a finite supply of resources and often producing toxic waste. It simply can't work long term. So what can? If we accept that the living world's cyclical model works, can we change our way of thinking so that we too operate a circular economy? Let's start with the biological cycle. How can our waste build capital rather than reduce it? By rethinking and redesigning products and components, and the packaging they come in, we can create safe and compostable materials that help grow more stuff. As they say in the movies, no resources have been lost in the making of this material. So what about the washing machines, mobile phones, fridges? We know they don't biodegrade. Here, we're talking about another sort of rethink, a way to cycle valuable metals, polymers and alloys so they maintain their quality and continue to be useful beyond the shelf life of individual products. What if the goods of today became the resources of tomorrow? It makes commercial sense. Instead of the throw away and replace culture we've become used to, we'd adopt a return and renew one, where products and components are designed to be disassembled and regenerated. One solution may be to rethink the way we view ownership. What if we never actually owned our technologies? We simply licensed them from the manufacturers. Now, let's put these two cycles together. Imagine if we could design products to come back to their makers, their technical materials being reused and their biological parts increasing agricultural value. And imagine that these products are made and transported using renewable energy. Here we have a model that builds prosperity long term. And the good news is, there are already companies out there who are beginning to adopt this way of working. But the circular economy isn't about one manufacturer changing one product. It's about all the interconnecting companies that form our infrastructure and economy coming together. It's about energy. It's about rethinking the operating system itself. We have a fantastic opportunity to open new perspectives and new horizons. Instead of remaining trapped in the frustrations of the present, with creativity and innovation, we really can rethink and redesign our future.
Yes, so I hope you could listen the complete video. You can hear it.
Yes.
Yes. And I like this video. The reason being, it's very simple, and all the concepts about circular economy, they have been explained in really simple terms. Okay. So maybe if you, any one of you would like to add your perspective, what we saw just now, so you're welcome. You can do that. Any thoughts? Okay, all right. So we can move ahead and we can discuss more about it, and then maybe we can open the session for discussion. Okay, so there are a couple of reports in front of me. I had shared these two reports into the group as well. The first report being the Circularity Gap Report 2023 edition by Circle Economy. So they analyze what is the circularity index of the world, and they publish it. So this is one report. Second one is the same report that we discussed last week. Okay. So from this report, let me just quickly tell you. So this is from World Economic Forum towards the circular economy, accelerating the scale up across global supply chain. So this is older report in collaboration with Ellen MacArthur Foundation and McKinsey and Company. Okay, so these two, every one of us, I guess, knows McKinsey, so which is management consulting firms, and second one is Ellen MacArthur Foundation, which is the leader in circular economy, the research and the methodologies how to do that. So this is an older report, but still there are two businesses which are well known, and at the same time they have integrated circular economy into their business. So I think we can go there first and try to understand how they did that. Yeah, so there are a couple of companies name over here. Ricoh is there, Philips is there, H&M is there. So let's see if we can find, yeah. So Philips lighting as a service, as you can see on the screen. I just read one paragraph from here. So Philips has a track record in the collection and recycling of lamps. For example, in the EU, Philips has a stake in 22 collection and service organizations that collect 40% of all mercury containing lamps put on the market, and with a recycling rate greater than 95%. In order to enhance collection of lighting equipment, Philips recently started to also sell lighting as a service. So here comes one of the critical point of circular economy, which is product as a service. Philips says they can reach more customers if they retain ownership of the lighting equipment, as customers don't have to pay high upfront cost, and Philips ensures the sound environmental management of the end of life lighting equipment. It is a new way for customers to achieve their sustainability goals: high lighting performance, high energy efficiency, and a low material footprint. So here comes looking at a value in a different way. So value is something, lighting is a value that customers want, right? So as we want lighting, we don't want bulb as such. So service is important. So how they can provide service. So Philips has implemented it and they got some good results. Okay. Again, let me just check if we have, yeah, so I guess Philips we have covered. For Renault also we had this. Yes. So regarding this paragraph, we had read last week also. So what Renault did was they work with their suppliers. Instead of purchasing cutting fluid from the supplier, they shifted to the service that they require, right? And the supplier devised such oil. They improved their engineering. They went to design and invented such oil, cutting fluid oil, that the requirement become lesser, and at the same time the waste also reduced, and at the same time it was a win-win-win. So this is one way to implement circular economy in the businesses. So there are many in this report. Okay. But let's go ahead, and this is something report. This is one report which talks about more about businesses. So how to do it. So this is Vision 2050, a new agenda for business. The report is published from World Business Council for Sustainable Development. So as most of us are interested to find out how businesses can support it, how businesses can understand it and implement in their operations as well, right? So instead of being just theory, how we can bring it to practicality and in practical grounds. So that is the question, right? Yeah, so in this report you will see challenges, pathway and options that business can use to create an opportunistic strategy both regionally and globally that will lead to sustainable world. So let us check some of the content from this report. So why it is important and what is the way out for the organizations, right? So as the linear model, so it is also called as business as usual, right? So what is the outlook for 2050? What will happen? So first thing is very clear. The population is increasing, right? And even though the population is increasing, there is one more aspect also. the urban population is also increasing, or the consumption of the population is also increasing at the same time. So these are two or three factors that are again skyrocketing the requirement of the resources. All right. So we will not talk more about GDP because that is another question. Maybe we can take it in next session. Is GDP correct way to measure the prosperity? But yeah, so middle class is expanding. So that directly corresponds to the requirement of resources, right? And again, we can correlate with greenhouse gas emissions. So as more resources are required, more consumption will be there. The greenhouse gas emissions will also be more, and which is inversely proportional to the quality of life. Right. So as the quality of life we have, but when the population increases, at the same time the resource requirement increases, and we will not be able to keep up with the rising requirement. And I can see the adulteration, the quality of food that we have for this generation. So that is not, I would say, proper or nutritious compared to 60 years or 100 years, right? So what happened is the quality of resources has declined. And may I just ask you, in whichever part you are located in the world, so have you seen that the quality of food, which is very important, as the food we eat, we become, right? So have you seen the quality of food being degraded in the last couple of years, couple of decades? So I would like to quickly know your thoughts on this, if this is the case for you.
Depends. Maybe the quality of food has gone up because it's becoming more genetically modified and inorganic or heavy use of pesticides, right? So, but if you were to think way back 20 years ago, 25 years ago, when we were shopping in India buying veggies, I think the use of pesticides was a lot less. You'd find a lot more pests in the vegetables, right? There's a worm here, there's a worm there. You don't
Mhm,
find that anymore. So it is clearly either genetically modified or heavily. So, yes, I mean, you can say quality of food has gone up, but it has probably gone up at the expense of something.
mhm, mhm.
That's my view. I'm sure there are some parts of the world where the quality of food has dropped, right?
Mhm.
So
All right. Yes, that's a valid point. Anyone?
I can add one more thing.
Yes,
When it
please.
comes to, I think, raw food, one can say that maybe the quality has gone up because the supply chains have improved, right?
Mhm,
Generally, they travel longer and genetically modified, so the food is okay. I think the quality of processed food has gone down, where they use all sorts of chemicals, etc. But I can't say that's super relevant to our sustainability topic, what I'm bringing up, but just wanted to say that I think quality of processed food has definitely dropped.
right. I agree with it. The quality of processed food has dropped, but at the same time, the quality of food, the raw food, is also gone down, and that we can substantiate with, if you go to, let's say, Green Revolution for India, which happened in Punjab, right? So there now the pesticide use is such a at higher level that you will find all the cancer patients over there. So there is a special train to take these people to the cancer hospital as well. So this is a level of increased cancer due to pesticides, which are carcinogenic, and the
Yeah.
same food. Yeah.
Hmm. So Dhananjay, I agree with you. That's why I said quality of food when you buy feels
Mhm.
better than it used to be before because the vegetables don't have pests in them, but the long-term
Aesthetically, it
health
is better.
impact, yeah, the long-term health impact of the food, definitely we are probably beginning to see it or will see it in the next few years.
Right. Yes. Anyone would like to share
Yeah,
their perspective?
yeah, yeah,
Yes.
yeah, Ajit here. So
Yes,
quality of
please.
food include taste also. One of the parameter is taste also.
Yes.
You
Yeah.
can see genetically modified all veggies, fruits that we used to eat some 20 years back. So that has changed. Even our
Mhm.
parents say that the food that we ate was excellent one. And now all your generation is now fed on
Mhm.
hybrid food.
Right.
More quantity, less quantity.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, basically, like varieties of processed food are more compared to before. And now, because of the technology, the storage capacity, and they are also improve a lot, right? So they can even store longer and longer, which looks like what, as earlier Manish said, it looks good. In looking wise is good, but health point of view is definitely much deteriorated compared to before.
Okay. Yes, thank you. Thank you so much for adding your perspective. And we can relate it with the quality of life because food is directly correlated to the quality of life. And at the same time, we can understand it with the resources. So why it is happening, why adulteration is there? Because there is not enough food or there are not enough methods to produce quality food, which can suffice to the 8 billion people or the increased requirement, right? So that is for food. At the same time, if we talk about the other resources which are required in let's say manufacturing, right? Or even in services, we will require some equipments or some products, right? So that also require the resources, and as we can see, the resources are not enough, and that's how the circular economy comes into picture. And here they have given this is older report actually. In 2050, some 9 billion people live well and within the limits of planet. So that is the vision we have. But as of now, we have already crossed 8 billion number. So, and if we look at the trajectory that we had in 12 or 13 years, we are adding one more billion. So I'm not sure whether we will have 9 or 10 billion. So that number can be more than this. But one thing is very sure, with sustainable development goals, no hunger, or we are pulling people out of below poverty line, and that should be done. But at the same time, how we can how we can make sure that they all get the quality of life, which is the prime objective for us. How to do that? That is the question. And here, industry's role is also important, right? So these are some of the points which makes it very important to reach the sustainable development, and that's how circular economy is very important, right? So let's see if in this report we can see something which is helpful for us. Yeah. So these are some of the tough questions. Uh, I'll just read a couple of questions, okay? So over the next 4 decades, society will grapple with difficult questions and trade-off for which answers will need to be found through collaboration. And these questions are: who will be the first mover, whether it is people or government or business, or as we suggest in this project, do we all need to move at once? Where is business ready to move forward with other stakeholders? So this is one question, because we always think that whether government should take the first initiative, they should give some incentives, or they should promote this kind of initiatives, or it is the industries that will take lead, or the people. So who will move first? How can business, government, and society work together to encourage the desired value shift and behavior changes, right? So how the overall working together or the collaboration will happen? Who will define the incentives and mechanisms, and who finances the transition? So these are some of the tough questions, and for which uh, we should find out a method to derive at the solution, right? So yeah, this is some of the important questions, right? So let's see. This is some graph over here. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So this is complete big infographic. So that will not be visible over here. Yeah. So this is one interesting finding, that happiness does not completely depend on GDP. Uh, but we will keep GDP topic as a separate topic, because that will have very varied viewpoints, and it's interesting as well. Yeah, but here, I guess one important point is the well-being of the people. So I guess this is about, if we talk about all sustainable development goals, so this should, these are some of the dimensions of well-being. So these all should cover over there. So what we want is basic living standard for all, health, education for all, decent livelihood. They should get some work. They should earn their livelihood, right? Then proper governance, the social upliftment or the support, regard to environment, right? And yeah, so these are some of the points that we need to take care. Okay, I'll just move ahead with the what is there for businesses. Okay, directly. Yeah, this is also one scenario which is important, right? How to reduce CO2 emissions. And do let me know if you want me to stop at some important point where you would like to have discussion. We can do that. Yeah. Yeah. So they have given with different sectors over here. Construction, mobility. The first one was energy, then the materials, and these are related to every business in the term that every organization needs water, needs energy, needs material, right? So everyone needs this, and if these are the resources, that is the input that any organization works. So ultimately it is the organization's sustenance depends on all these factors as well.
So one question maybe Dhananjay and everybody else,
Yes.
why don't we discuss something practical, some brainstorm, just
Mhm.
as a thought on, let's say, electronics, circular economy, or
Mhm.
Philips lighting, we've discussed, right? I mean, many companies have done this. Let's discuss something a little harder, right? Which is we let's just say we go to a McDonald's, right?
Mhm.
And McDonald's serves you the food in in a paper box, right? And how do you how do you how do you convert something like that into a circular economy? And I'm not saying specifically think about the paper box, or if you imagine the number of burgers are sold in the world, sure, somebody would say, firstly, don't consume beef, which is very good, right? Or somebody may say, hey, go vegetable burgers, etc. So, uh, leaving those choices aside, how can a company like that try and think more of the circular economy? You know, I'm just thinking aloud because this some of these films papers come lined with maybe a plastic layer, makes it difficult to recycle. So just thinking aloud, and we don't have to discuss this particular one. Think about milk. Milk used to come in glass bottles several years ago.
Mhm.
Now they come in plastic pouches or Tetra packs. Can that be recycled? I know they say recycle at the bottom, of many of these, but is there a way to help reduce some of this packaging waste? Again, just thoughts, right? I mean, what do people think? Where are some of the biggest challenges for our circular economy?
Right. So here, yeah, Polish, you want to go?
I
Please.
think what Manish bring the point, right, is a quite good point, and we are all from the industries, right? So I think it will be very value added. If anybody has any experience, any idea, right, we can just brainstorm together, right? So on the same point of view, I like to share one real time. Once this circular economy concept was introduced, right? So I was discussing last week with one of my friend. So
Mhm.
he is from semiconductor industry, and
Okay.
in their industry, right, they use some chemical for the cleaning, right? Semiconductor industry required a very high level of cleanliness, right? So the chemical they use, the purity required was 99.999. It's a 5-digit number, right? And after the cleaning, the output come out that chemical, the purity left is 99.99, a 4-digit number.
Okay.
And they used to throw away, scrap all the 99.99%. But when
Oh.
this circular economy concept come into picture, right? So
Mhm.
those the C-suite management people, right? They start enforcing this to all the management people, engineering people to brainstorm, to start thinking how
Mhm.
should we add on value to it, right? So then they find out this 99.99, which is the outcome of the after cleaning, is the input of other industries. They start selling this to other industries which require just 99.9 as an input.
Mhm.
So these are the some of the example. If anybody know, right, we can share with each other. Yeah. So this is one of the good example which I find out when I was just chit chatting with one of my friend. Yeah.
Yeah, that's wonderful.
Sir, this is Priyanka. Am I audible?
Yes, Priyanka, please go ahead.
Actually, I don't know much. I am not from industry. I am a student researcher, and I am like in the early stage of my research. I am doing research on corporate net zero targets. So the thing is, what I think like we need to work at the stage of designing itself. When we design our product, we need to think what we are designing, like the modularity concept or like. So, for example, if we take the case of Colgate or any toothpaste, so there is a aluminium foil on the top of it. So I don't know ki why, like can we do something to reduce material like this at the designing step itself? So these are very small things, but we need to incorporate circularity at the design stage itself. So that is my point.
Right. Perfect, Priyanka. Yeah, and based on your input only, I'll add. So yes, design phase we need to add, and one way to incorporate it is the extended producer responsibility. As Manish was saying, so it's about, let's say, why don't the producer itself take care of the waste, right? So if that happens, what will happen? If producer is being mandated to handle their waste, they will think how we can make it easy.
Right.
Currently, what is happening? The cost of handling all this waste is being borne by the people or the government, and the company which is responsible for this kind of waste generation, they are not directly involved in that. So if extended producer responsibility is strictly mandated and implemented well and monitored, so that will ensure that the manufacturer has to take care of that, so of their waste, right? So they will think about how to make it easier, and that's how they will think what design changes they can make. So as we see circular economy, we need to think at design phase itself. We should not focus on the just waste management or the recycling at the last stage. So that's not circular economy. It's all starts about starting with design phase. So what are your inputs on this about extended producer responsibility being at the forefront to implement circular economy? Will it be a practical way to implement for industries?
I think it's already been started, no?
Right.
I am hearing from some of my industry's friend. They say is not full-fledged as implemented, but it's already they are seeing the direction coming from the government authorities, right? Slowly they are communicating with the industries to that it's on the way. So they already mentally start preparing themselves And many companies are now already adopting with the circular economy mindset, right? From the design stage, there new products are coming out with this mindset that they have to do circular economy support. Yeah.
All right. Yes. Any other idea?
Yeah, one more. Yeah, just I was exploring and I find out in Singapore government, right? The government organization we call A Star. A Star is actually a government supported body, and they develop a team who support industries. Like suppose I'm industrialist and I want to implement circular economy, but I don't have the knowledge, I don't have the technology. I can collaborate with them and they provide the technical support and resources to me to develop my process or product in such a way that it can go for circular economy. So in Singapore, we already have this already in place now. All small scale industries or any industry can approach to them and they will support with the technical knowledge to implement this circular economy.
Wow, great. And what are the cost implications for the company? Is it free of cost or some nominal charges are there?
What I understand is at very nominal charges, at very nominal charges. Yes. But later I will try to find out more. Once I have a more concrete information, I will share in this group.
Okay,
Yeah.
perfect, perfect, great. Yes. So I have one uh, tool, that is circular business model planning tool. So I'll share that in 5 minutes, and again we can connect to discuss on the practical business models. Meanwhile, you can think about what business model we can discuss and what are the ways. Okay, so I'll just quickly share. Uh, yeah, yeah. This is one resource which is circular business model planning tool. Okay, a tool to help design business models that extend the useful life of products and materials and capitalize on the associated value. So, as we already know about circular business models, circularity, right? So, we'll skip this part. Uh, just here, we will check the definition. A circular business model is how a company creates, captures, and delivers value with the value creation logic designed to improve resource efficiency through extending the useful life of products and parts and closing material loops. So, this is in short, what is a circular business? Yeah, so why use this tool? So first is map the value creation logic of the company along the product life cycle. So what is the value that they are giving to the customer? First thing, plan and analyze the business model elements at the relevant points of the product life cycle that help implement and capitalize on the circular strategies. So it is planning the business model, the elements of it, then recognize interdependencies of business model elements across various life cycle points. So where are the interdependencies? And finally, identify opportunities to capture residual value of products and materials and increase resource efficiency. So they have given one template over here. Okay. So yeah, so this is one template that they have shared. So first is I'll just share directly the example that is given over here. Okay, so in the value dimensions, what is value proposition, what is value creation and delivery, and value capture in these three? And again, the detailing is given over here. So let's move ahead. This is the template. Okay, so in each of the point, we can add for that particular industry the inputs. Okay, so let's see one example, that is the Fairphone. So we discussed in last session also. The Fairphone is really interesting because they have implemented circular economy in the design phase itself. So Fairphone is not working on recycling of the products, recycling of the elements of any mobile, but they have designed the product mobile phone. It's a modular one. So I'll just read over here because that will be better. The company Fairphone offers a modular. Modular means different parts of the phone can be disassembled. It's a complete module for one function, and that can be replaced. long life phone designed for repairability and recycling. So they will not launch the next version, right? So it is not the compulsion to buy. Instead of that, the phone can be repaired, and the phone has been designed in such a way that every part or every module can get it easily, and at the end how they can recycle it in with ease. Business model elements are shaped to facilitate collection after use, additional lives of phones, and material recycling. So these are all things has been taken care into design phase itself. Okay. So this is really interesting model of Fairphone that we can check on maybe YouTube also. So they have really good model that is working. Okay. Yeah, so first sell, this is about how their value proposition is and what is their business model to understand in detail, right? So with the first sell, so what is the offer that they are giving? What is the value proposition, right? That we can read that modular lifelong phone that they want to offer with replacement parts. The value proposition is high performance phones, low LCC, repairability should be there. Then which are the customer segments? So private for individuals or firms or public organizations. Then relationship with customers, partners, it's community based. What is the value creation? Production, value chain management, sales and shipping, so all these are involved into it. Then key resources are fair source materials, so whatever materials are used in the phone, these are we will call it as a fair traded products or materials. Modular phone design and software. Then key partners are part manufacturer or software developers or NGOs. The channel is sales via website and retailer. And if we talk about value capture, the cost is production and operations of this entire organization, and the revenue flow is through sales of phones and replacement parts. Right. So here again, collect and reintegrate the next one, then additional sale of product and part, and enable material recovery. So in this way, they have put all the details of their organization, how they can make it a circular one, and where are the opportunities where they can get it, right? So this is one example that we can read about the company, which is Fairphone. I hope it is readable, or should I zoom it? Yeah, so this is the end over here. Yes, any thoughts on this?
I think this can be a good guideline, right? If some of us, when doing work on this, right, we can take this as a baseline to with this of items, right, will be very useful. Yes, definitely when we start any new product or something.
Mhm.
What are the things we should keep in mind?
But yes, yeah. And one more concept actually, the concept of synergy, or the third alternative. Means couple of years back, I read one book by Stephen Covey. He is the writer of Seven Habits of Highly Effective People. So the third alternative talks about finding the synergy and finding the solution to life's difficult problems. So in that he talks about means the way out is such that we need to understand the point of view of both the parties, that is the differing mindset or the thought process, and we have to find some common ground where we need to reach, and then it is a brainstorming process how to arrive at that solution. And he states in the book that in many practical scenarios it happened that uh, the final solution was always better than the solution that both the parties had in their mind before the discussion. So yes, this will always start with the design phase itself, the open discussion, the trust, and willingness to find a solution. So yeah, so starting with design phase, I guess it is important for circular economy. uh, your inputs please on this. Yeah. Should I stop sharing this?
Yeah, I think if you can send, this is the Circular Economy 2022, is it?
Just a minute. So this is just a minute. Just now what I shared. So this is one resource developed by, this is one organization actually. Yeah, this is one project under the university, and their research center is the International Institute for Industrial Environmental Economics.
Or could you post this one, please? Just useful.
Yeah, yeah, sure, sure, sure.
Mhm.
I'll post it in our group also. Okay. Yes. So again, we came to the same question: how to implement in the industries? How to do that?
Yeah, I think, broadly, the reading that I've done at least, or the observations are, firstly, circularize the input as much as possible. Meaning, if you can salvage from your own product and reuse into your own product, or reuse somebody else's output as your input, that's the best,
Right.
right? Then it's about sharing platforms like a car. Not everybody needs to own a car. If you can rent a car, that helps reduce the burden. Then product as a service. This is your Philips example, right?
Right.
Then product use extension, something that I think we've been, even Priyanka was talking about, design it right up front and extend the life of the product, right? Which we used to do. Products were meant to last, but now because of the fashion statement, right? Change phones every 1 year, 2 year, etc. Anyway, that.
Mhm.
Yeah, these are some of the broad ones, and then I think maybe yeah, maybe there are one or two other categories, but these were some of the broad ones I could spot at least, right?
Right.
Um, yeah, I'll see if there's any other that comes across.
Yeah. Thank you.
Um,
Thank you so much for putting your points.
Yeah,
Uh,
and sorry, just one other thing in there is the circular input thing. Maybe is it can be recycling, upcycling, or downcycling also in there, right? And the circular input. So yeah, just think of it that way, please. Yep.
yeah, just I didn't got your last point in the sense that means upcycling. I got it. Means
What I
when
mean
we
is
talk about.
circular inputs may, when it is in the process, when we are thinking about circularizing the inputs,
Mhm,
it can be a recycling, it can be an upcycling, or a downcycling. I'll give you an example of an upcycling.
mhm,
Singapore Airlines here was decommissioning some Airbus 380 aircraft, and they use very fancy leather in their business class seats, of course.
mhm,
So a company came in and said, "We will buy all the leather off of your seats, and we will make them into, we'll, of course, clean up the leather, treat it, and we will make them into handbags," right? So that's upcycling, right? Where it
right,
was not that useful a product, but it was a seat. Nobody thinks about it twice, but now somebody's willing to pay something for it, right?
right.
So yeah, just a thought there.
No, I got your point regarding upcycling. Okay, but I'm not sure when we talk about circular economy, it is downcycling, which is not favorable for circular economy. Upcycling, yes, when we talk about, but when we are not adding value or when the value degrades, so that's not a part of circular economy. So that is what I think.
Okay, let me debate that, right?
Yeah,
Um,
sure.
so downcycling, the way I think of it is, let's say I start with virgin plastic, right? Or polycarbonate polystyrene. And like I said, the moment you keep reusing the plastic, the strength of that plastic is diminishing, right? And you're downcycling the plastic. Now it goes into lower and lower usability products. Yeah, you
Mhm,
can call it recycling, right? But you're also sort of downcycling the product in a way. Or take Pavlesh's example of that chemical. It's not recycling, it's sort of downcycling the product where it is being reused by the next person who needs lesser purity and is willing to pay less for it, right? Perhaps an example.
Okay.
Or, sorry, let me give you another case. Take the case of, there are lots of companies all over the world in emerging economies, at least, that will take used tires. They will take out the tread from the old used tires and they will stick a new tread on it. So in a way, what they have done is they have just taken the old one, they've sort of downcycled the product, right? Because they're going to sell it for less, or they're going to, use it for a lesser purpose and still keep that away from the landfill, right? Just as an example. I can give you one more example of that.
Sure.
We had this here, Pavlesh might know. The government collected lots of used sneakers, shoes from people. And they said, okay, please donate your shoes, rubber soles, sports shoes. And they used all the rubber soles to construct certain running tracks. The running tracks in the stadiums have softer tracks. So they used the rubber soles from those shoes to just construct a running track. That may be an example of a downcycling, right?
No, I
Where
don't think I disagree with you on this point. The upcycling or downcycling, I feel, is with respect to the value that it creates, first point. And second point, the value of material. Means if it is a virgin material, that obviously is directly coming from nature and that's having the higher value. So in both the terms, first value in terms of its application and second value in terms of the material, the quality of material that is being used. So in your case, let's say if we take the example of the sneakers, the shoes, in that case, if the track has to be made from virgin material, it would have been the extraction somewhere, right? But instead of that, you are using sneakers which are waste product, which is not going to be used as a sneakers again, right? That will be threaded and will be used for some other value which is lower than the use as a sneakers. In that case, that is upcycling.
No, I don't look at it that way, sorry.
Okay.
Because a leather seat in a
Okay.
business class has low utility. Nobody's buying it, right? Nobody's paying for the leather seat. And you upcycle it by making a wallet out of it that somebody pays you money for, right? It's an upcycle, higher utility product. Whereas a sneaker was a higher utility product, and then you put it into a stadium running track where nobody cares, nobody's observing it was a sneaker from a rubber from a sneaker shoe, and you have sort of downcycled it, but you've still managed to utilize it. It's okay. I think it's a matter, it's semantics. We are really talking about innovation that keeps things away from the landfill. These labels that people give, upcycling,
Right.
downcycling, circular inputs, are labels. As long as the thought process is still there to keep it away from a landfill, we are achieving
Right.
a win.
Right. Right. And the thought process should be in such a way that the highest value should be extracted out of that material, the highest possible
Totally
with the
agree.
with with,
Totally
with the
agree.
current technology level, with the current knowledge,
Totally agree.
whatever
You don't
we
want
have.
to go down into the lowest cycle right away. You want to
Correct.
keep it, like it's like a glider. You don't want to come down and land in one go. You want to glide as much as possible.
Right. Yes. Agree.
Excuse me,
Yeah,
sir. I have
Dhananjay,
one
right.
question.
Yes. Priyanka, you can go first, and
Okay.
then Ajitji, you can. Yeah,
Thank you
please.
so much, sir. Sir, just now you were talking about upcycling and downcycling. So there is a term repurpose. So is it same as upcycling or is it similar to downcycling? Because in
Repurposing.
all the cases you are using the product and you are repurposing it. Like you are using it somewhere else. So is it similar to upcycling or downcycling?
Mm,
I can give you my comment on it, Priyanka. I
mhm.
think let us not get lost in the semantics. These are human So if we had the smartest human possible who was creating definitions of these words and labeling these definitions, I think we would get immense clarity, right? But there's hundreds and thousands of people around the world who are creating these titles and definitions of, you reusing words. I wouldn't get lost in it, because I know from an academic purpose, it is very important for you to define the terms in a mutually exclusive manner, so none of them seem to overlap. Um, so maybe, I don't know. Just my personal preference is not getting lost in that, because we can keep debating the semantics all day long. But I think repurposing may be, to answer your question, repurposing may just be a general term to say, hey, we've repurposed something that came out of another workflow and put it into another workflow. Whether it was up or down is okay. Upcycling or downcycling is okay. It's probably a more general word.
It is a more broader term. It is more
Yes,
inclusive.
I would think so. I would think so.
yes, yes. I also agree with it. Yeah,
Thank you so much, sir.
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Dhananjay, I'm traveling. Actually, there may be a slight disturbance,
Mhm.
but our hazardous waste rule 2016, hazardous and other waste management transport. So
Right.
there they have defined recycling. So it is you're processing the waste, maybe make it usable for the same purpose or some other purpose, whatever may be the purpose. So so recycling or both. Okay. Then few examples where we are using the waste. Actually, our final intention should be we should lengthen the period of usability. First use, second use, third use, and it should be as long as possible so that it does not go. It takes longer time to go to the disposal mode, maybe in land or water. So some of the organizations, companies, those are using these reusing or recycling methods. So water bottles, mineral water bottles, huge production and huge generation of waste. So one of the company near Dindori in Nasik district, they are manufacturing bricks and paver blocks out of these PET bottles. So ask them, how do you collect these so many PET bottles in home? So they are tied up with some hotels, airports, and some big scrap vendors. So from them they are collecting this. One of the steel manufacturing company in Jalna, near Aurangabad.
Mhm.
So they have waste of that iron oxides and other waste in the process. So they hired some service from IIT Bombay, and
Mhm.
they are thinking of using this waste in construction industry. So
Okay.
results are still awaited,
Mhm.
but they are doing like that. And we know for many years, uh, fly ash from boilers that is used for manufacturing of transport. But here, when an organization goes for circular economy, so company, industry, or organization will have to put a lot of efforts, maybe physical efforts, intellectual efforts, and financial support will also be required. Then only it will be possible. So that is the challenge. So many are willing to go for this, but still they don't find the solution how to go for it. So
Mhm.
maybe any platform which can give guideline will help them
Yeah, definitely.
from my side.
Yeah. So, how we can enable this entire process? So that is one question that we all have. Yeah, and on the screen, I hope you can see one image. It is again designed from Ellen MacArthur Foundation. And here, yes, the concept here is not directly go to the recycle, as you all of you have expressed your point of view as well. So as on the bottom you can see landfill or the energy recovery through incineration. So that's not the point where we want to go. First, after user, we want to collect it, maintains it, and again with the maintenance, again the same user uses it. That's better. If that's not possible, then we go to reuse or redistribute is right, or repurpose it. Then we go to refurbish or remanufacture. We have taken some of the working modules out of it. and again we are using it to manufacture the next product and again selling it to the consumer or customer, sorry, in that case. And in the last option is the recycling, and somewhere repurpose or upcycling, so that should come, that are, these are the general term, I guess, that should come under this redistribute or refurbish under it. Yes. Any last thoughts if you would like to share? This was a great discussion, I must say.
So I put something in there. So somebody has done the research,
Mhm.
and can you bring that up, please,
Yeah,
Dhananjay, if
sure,
you.
sure, sure,
uh,
sure. Just a
So I'll just talk through that. What they are trying to do is just guiding us to say, if you have to do broad level guidance on different industries, and nobody's saying this is right or wrong or this is exhaustive, but this is just a good way to think about it. That if you are in the oil and gas industry, the second one, you should think about energy transitions, because there's probably very little way to make it sustainable with fossil fuels, right? And that is at least the current knowledge, the current belief. Because if anybody says, I'll make oil and gas sustainable, you'll get shot, right?
right.
So let's look at ICT, the sixth row there. Okay, we were talking about reverse infrastructure, which is the reverse logistics to collect back bad things, spoiled things, refurbish and recycle. We were talking about fridges, etc., household repair and reuse as much as possible, right? So this anyway, I won't go through everyone. What we're trying to say is, and there are clearly ones missing, like fashion, circular material use only, but I think a shared economy in fashion, or at least sort of a sharing platforms or even a product as a service is possible. I'm not saying it's perfect, but you could think of it, right? Or product use extension is thinkable, because earlier on clothes used to last. It is
Mhm.
only now that they wear off so quickly because people want fast fashion. So there's
Right.
just a guidance. I'm not saying it's perfect, but just useful to think of it as a framework, especially for some of the academic people around, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's good. And one interesting question
Dhananjay,
I remember. Yes, yes.
Dhananjay, I would like to add one more thing.
Please,
So,
please go ahead.
I do in electrical equipment manufacturing industry. So they were importing insulation paper, literally
Mhm.
paper like insulation grade paper from Germany, and
Okay.
end pieces, cut pieces, or side pieces were produced on a large scale. So it was straight away scrap. Okay.
Mhm.
10 rupees kg, 20 rupees kg. So after this ISO 14,000 implement, why can we reuse it? So somebody took initiative and he cut those papers and started binding it and making a writing pad. So all the employees are now using writing pad. But I said, this is electrical grade paper. You have imported it. So
Mhm.
why don't you find out a company which needs this insulation papers in their manufacturing? So if you
Right.
use it that way, it will reduce the consumption of all resources and the whole manufacturing process that would be taking place there. So first purpose they are solving, they are reducing the waste going to the land. But what could have been the better way to sell it to somebody who can use it as a one of their product component.
Right.
So that would be better. So if the companies who are using these circular economy techniques, if they can share their success story on some particular platform, that can help a lot to other industries. So they can straight away copy their methods. So there has to be some platform or portal where success story can. That's all.
Right. Perfect. Perfect. And this again demonstrate that while implementing circular economy, we need to focus on how we can have it a closest loop possible, and upcycling, keeping retaining the maximum value of the component or the material. Yeah. Yes. And here, someone asked me one interesting question, so I'll just drop it over here, and maybe you can think about it, and we can connect next week on that. But the question I was asked is, I explain all circular economy to them, and they asked me, so what is the viability for the company? Because let's take fast fashion, right? So their business model itself is dependent on selling more items frequently, right? So if you are saying that use it durable, use it for long term, then how that kind of business will survive in the circular economy model? So that was one question I had been asked. So I'll just throw the question to you. If you want to answer now, you can. Otherwise, we can discuss it in next week as well.
I think we need time to think. Yeah, maybe.
Hey, what's the question again, Dhananjay? I didn't catch the question.
Okay. So question was, let's take example of fashion industry. Okay.
Yes,
So their business model is dependent on selling the product, and let's say the more they sell, the more revenue they will get, right?
correct.
Yeah. But here in circular economy, we are saying that you should use your product for longer duration. They should design in such a way that it is for long-term use,
Hmm.
right? So what is the incentive for such kind of businesses? First thing. And second thing, in circular economy, how they will survive this kind of long-term approach when their business model itself is counterintuitive for this.
So maybe some actors. So I'll just give first comment. Huh?
Uh-huh.
Some actors in the economy are bad actors, and you need to get rid of the bad actors, right?
Mhm.
Like
Right.
you're getting rid of the oil and gas, there is no reason to be sympathetic towards fast fashion companies. These are
Mhm.
human beings that are running companies for greed. There is no real need for people to have fast fashion, right? Of course, if you want to have fast fashion, then fine. You'll pay the price. Maybe you'll have to pay extremely high prices for high fashion goods versus people like us who are happy with a cotton t-shirt or thing that's lasting should pay a
Mhm.
lower price. And that may reverse because right now you pay a premium for 100% cotton t-shirt
Right.
and you pay lower for a nylon polyester mixed t-shirt which the fast fashion people will give you. There maybe needs to be a reversal, or maybe not a reversal as such, but keep the cotton price high but make the nylon polyester mixed fast fashion higher. I don't know, I'm just thinking aloud. Well, all I want to say is we don't need to have these companies survive, right?
Yeah. We don't need companies to survive, but still people are dependent on that companies, right? For for their livelihoods. So this is a question, this is a bigger question, that how to address this
That AI will also displace people. People will find things to do.
So I think I'm not sure, but I think there is a need of some regularization. Some regulation should be there. Either you put some EPR on them, ki they should take back their product and they can recycle that thing. So I think that can help.
And that's a
right?
very good point because that's exactly what will happen with the scope emissions, right? They'll all have to they'll all have to talk about it, and if they don't come down, I don't think it's going to be one of those critical industries that is going to be exempt for some time to say fast fashion you are exempt from your carbon emissions. What they will do is they will do the greenwashing to try and figure how to hide it, right? Or buy the carbon credits, and I don't know. But yes, compliance and regulations will come in.
Yes.
Or they have to think innovation after the clothes torn down, right? They come out with a new design using same cloth with the torn down fashion, right? The torn cloth means they have to come up innovative way if they want to survive.
But that's a good one. I'll go do some reading on how the fast fashion industry is innovating for this. It'll be an interesting discussion.
Yeah. And again, similar to that, the manufacturing industry as well, right? Means any industry whose value proposition is based on selling more products. So how they can manage it? So that's the question. All right. So should we stop here?
Yeah, we will brainstorm and see if any good inputs we have. We can discuss again next week. Yeah, thanks.
Sure. So I'll stop here.